Hello everyone, welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. I came back from church and I'm feeling holy today. So let's talk about what's happening with Bayern Munich and Havertz. Apparently, according to Christian Falk, the negotiations are starting to heat up because Chelsea qualified for the Champions League. So it's almost like a green light for Chelsea's board to go ahead and sign him because he's getting Champions League and Havertz would go to Chelsea. And I'm actually very sad. But before I get into that, guys, a lot of you ask, hey George, how can we support the channel? Well, this isn't necessarily supporting me per se, but Bayern Denver, that's where I am. I live in Colorado. There's a guy who has stage 5 kidney. I just heard of that today. But if you do want to donate to that, he's a Bayern fan. So if you do want to donate to that, I'll leave the link to that in the description. So look, if you want to help me out, that's the way. That's the way to help me out, by actually donating to a fellow Bayern fan that I personally could literally meet if I go to Denver or when I go to Denver for a Bayern game. I can't go because of logistics and everything. But make sure, if you have something, man, go help out. But seriously, let's get into this. Havertz going to Chelsea, man. This is the player that I wanted. And I'm not going to be one of those people that sits there and goes, he's a dead baller anyways. I made a whole parody on it, but that's not actually what I thought. He's the next Mario Götze. He's Adam Lallana to me. He's crap. But look, seriously, he's a great player. And Bayern missing out on him is going to be a major, major loss. Seriously, if you look at just our squad, oh my goodness. I was looking at it. Who's our backup winger after Kingsley Coman? Because you need 4 wingers for 2 positions. And who's our backup striker after Lewandowski? Who's our backup attacking midfielder? We don't have depth. People think we do. We don't. Just look at today. Pavard getting injured and everyone all of a sudden believes we're going to hell. We're crap. Absolute crap. That's because of one injury. So what happens when a Kimmich gets a little knock for 3 games in a row? What happens when Pavard does again next season? Who's our backup right back? Who's our backup winger for the backup winger? Who's our wingers? Who's everyone? Where is everyone? Of course, you know what? I get it. A lot of people said, what about keeping Perišić? I don't need to care about Perišić. Here's the situation. Here's how I think. I'm one of those people that thinks, you know what? If you can't push yourself to be in Bayern's first team, you shouldn't be in Bayern's first team. I think if Perišić is going to be fine sitting on the bench, it makes sense for the board because he'll be paid less than the players on the bench. But if he doesn't make any sense for us, and if he doesn't want to push himself to be in the starting 11, I don't want that type of backup. That's not the type of depth we want. We're not Borussia Dortmund where we need the Perišić is on the bench. Our bench should be better than some teams' first players, man. That's how good our bench should be. Look at Coutinho on our bench. There are teams that would take Coutinho and he'd start for them. But he's sitting on our bench for a reason. We need depth, guys. And I'm not saying... wow, hearing weird noise. But I'm not saying Havertz would come in and be on our bench, per se. I'm saying he would come in and add more depth to us because we don't have any depth. We can't just shove Oliver Batista Mai and all these young players into a Champions League knockout game. We can't do that. No, you can't just say, oh, Zirkzee, you know what? You're developing well in training. You're learning from Lewandowski. Yeah, here you go. Here's a start in the Champions League. Nah, we're going away to the Camp Nou. Remember Pep 2015? Does anyone remember that? Bayern didn't have any wingers on the pitch. Guess what happened? We got served. We gegenpressed, which you can put down to the manager. We gegenpressed Barcelona and we got served because we had no wingers to really play a high-paced game that Bayern usually normally like to do. So my point is, it's very important to have good depth. There is such a thing as terrible depth. We're not Hertha Berlin where we just get these fringe players that are just happy to play in the Bundesliga, happy to play at a top club. We need players that are a level above them. I'd love a Ferran Torres to be sitting on our bench. These are the types of players that I'd like. You think Real Madrid are like, we got too many players. Hey, call off the Vinicius Jr. deal. Call off the Rodrigo deal. That's not what happens. Real Madrid go into every window wanting to strengthen. Real Madrid have the most Champions Leagues, won it 3 times in a row, especially in the modern day, which is very, very hard to do considering how many teams have money and good players now. So Real Madrid won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. Did they do that by having the exact same? No, they kept strengthening. They kept doing something different. They had sacked a different manager. Carlo won a Champions League. He got sacked. because he didn't win it again. It's a culture. I'm not saying Bayern should do that, by the way. Some people are going to be like, oh, yeah. No. I want my club to win the Champions League every single year, and I don't blame myself for that. I want it. I want Bayern to win it every single year. I don't want Bayern to lose a single game. And the best way for me that I think should be the case is that we sign players that genuinely would fit us. And Kai Havertz fits us. We also know Hansi Flick wants Kai Havertz. Hansi Flick likes him as a player. He fit Hansi Flick's system very good, like a freaking Lego going on another Lego, like I always say, or puzzle and puzzle pieces coming together. He fit us like a freaking cardboard parking lot. Sometimes you could park the car wrong, but you get what I mean. He's a Lamborghini. Sometimes you'll get a Perišić. Perišić is, for me, just a used up car that you get at the dealership for maybe $2,000 US. Whereas Kai Havertz is that Lamborghini. Just the sound of the Lamborghini, the word Lamborghini in your head, you know what it's about. You know that player can do something. And I want us, when we go to these away games, these Champions League games, these important big games, I want us on our lineup to have players like Kai Havertz. I want these players. I'm not looking for Oliver Batista Mai. Of course, these young players can eventually mold themselves into something. But Thomas Muller didn't have to become our best this and that. Alphonso Davies, if you look at Davies, he wasn't just shoved in. He was shoved in. He earned it, first of all. Davies was working so hard in the youth academy, playing and working hard in training. And the managers decided, you know what? He can play as a left back. And he did it. He did it in the international break versus Inter Milan and Spurs. He actually played left back. So they said, let's just play him in there because he earned it. You can't just say, hey, Zirkzee, you're our backup striker now. Actually, Zirkzee did earn it by scoring the 2 goals he did in December. All right, let's go to somewhere else. Jamal Musiala, you're our backup cam now. You're a backup winger. You see what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. And we're potentially losing Thiago as well. And people are still talking to me about, oh, we don't need more depth. Adrian Fine is coming in. That's like selling your Rolls Royce and buying a Toyota Camry and saying, I already have a car. I sold my car, my very, very expensive car, but I also have a new car, different car. There's levels to different players. And Kai Havertz is a different level. Some people are saying Saprit Singh. Look, I'm not saying he's a crap player, but I'm saying you can't say, oh, let's not sign Kai Havertz. Let's give Saprit Singh the minutes. There's a different stupidity to that because, I don't know. It's not even about playtime. I don't think it is. Because if it was, then I don't think it would have been that big of an issue for Kai Havertz. Havertz wants to go to a big club. A club that has a project in mind rather than being top 4 in the Bundesliga. Leverkusen aren't going to be that project. They're not going to be that club. They're not going to want to win a Champions League. They're not even going to want to win a DFB Pokal. You see how they turned up against us? That's your chance of a lifetime. If I'm a player playing against Bayern, I would want to die on that pitch to play against Bayern and win a trophy. One of the most prestigious trophies in the world. One of the most expensively made trophies in the world. I would want to kill Alphonso Davies to win that trophy. But Leverkusen players played it like it was a Bundesliga game versus Werder Bremen away from home, and they were cruising. Man, there should have been a different level of energy and enthusiasm. But there wasn't, and you could tell. So Leverkusen aren't that club. Havertz wanted to move because he knows Leverkusen isn't long-term. He's going to be 22 next year. You think he's thinking to himself, I can wait for Bayern and Real Madrid next year. Or he can go to Chelsea where they're also trying to build something, play alongside better players, play with a better manager, because Boss is nowhere close to Frank Lampard. I'm serious, man. And Bayern Munich, knowing we need a player, look, a lot of people are like, but Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick is literally working with water and turning it into wine. That's what he's working with. You're telling me Hansi Flick is happy that, his entire bench is going to be made up of young players next season that haven't proven themselves? What about when someone like Sané gets injured and Gnabry get injured in the same week, in the same month? They're gone. Coman comes in, Muller's going to the right wing, and all of a sudden Saprit Singh is starting as our cam. You see where I'm messed up with this? You see how stupid this is? Do you understand where I'm worried? All of a sudden, Goretzka is going from the double pivot to the attacking midfielder role because we don't have anyone else. All of a sudden, Kimmich is going to right back because Pavard got injured and we don't have anyone else. All of a sudden, we're moving and changing our entire dynamic, especially in the big games. And we know Bayern Munich. We pick up injuries in the big games. We pick up injuries when it matters. Look at Pavard. He's injured. Not his fault, obviously. He was trying to block a cross. Something happened. But he's injured. Just the unluckiness we get. Sometimes you build your own luck. Well, actually, 99.9% of the times you build your own luck. The way we build our own luck isn't by hoping we don't get injured and playing a certain way. No, it's by buying players. So when we do get injuries, we have someone else that can come in at a similar level or even better. Havertz would be better. But no. And people are forgetting the fact that this is the same squad that is... This squad is overperforming, guys. This squad isn't that complete as people think. This squad is overperforming because of a great manager. This squad is doing what it shouldn't be doing. This is the same squad that was drawing games, losing games, drawing to Freiburg last season. This is the same squad. This is the same squad that was 7 points behind the league. This is the exact same group of players. But guess what? They just have a different manager. And you can't have this balloon that we have right now. It's eventually just going to burst. What if Davies has a couple of games where you're like, Davies, you're kind of poor. Because he's a young guy. He's going to have he's not just going to be consistently great forever. But what if there's a moment where, Davies is looking a bit crap. What about Gnabry? You're going to bring Coman in? What if they're both looking crap? What if Sané isn't really performing to the level? What if Sané gets injured for 3 months? This is the scenario in my head. These things are running right there in my head. People aren't seeing what I'm seeing. I don't know if we're supporting the same club here, guys. Because some people just don't understand what I mean when I say we need depth. We have such a poor amount of squad depth. We have 3 players on loan from other clubs that are leaving. Guaranteed. Perišić is gone. Apparently, Perišić could be swapped for Brozovic. Perišić could go. I don't want no Brozovic. He'd probably be a good player, and I think he'd fit us, and he's 27. You know what? I wouldn't mind him. He would be good depth, to be fair. But it's not even about the midfield, to be honest. It's about the attack. 5 players for 4 positions next season. And then you're like, bring Oliver Batista Mai in as our backup winger. Don't make me slap you, because I don't know if you're trying to keep us in the Europa League or something. Because, oh boy, this season has just been papering the cracks from Hansi Flick, because it's the same problems. We're not done with this rebuild, by the way. People think this rebuild's done. Bayern's done. No, we're not done. We still have poor squad depth. Who's our backup right back? We still need a center back. People were like, oh, Alaba and Boateng are doing well. Why do we need Upamecano? Like Niklas Zula and Lucas Hernandez didn't get injured in the space of 2 weeks together. Like, you forget these things so quickly. The reason why Alaba is a center back in the first place is because Lucas got injured for like 4 months or 3 months, and Niklas Zula the entire season. So we need depth. We are seeing it, but we're just not going to acknowledge that sometimes young players aren't everything. I see Chris Richards. I see the highlights. He looks saucy. He looks great. But you know what happened when he played his first few minutes? And I'm not saying I'm nitpicking, or I'm not saying he's crap. I'm saying he lost the header and we almost conceded. That's what happened. That's what I saw. Some people saw, he finally got his debut for Bayern. I saw him losing a header and we almost concede from it. They're not ready, guys. These young players are not ready like we think they are. There's a reason why they're not playing for our first team yet. There's a reason why they're not starting games. Because they're not ready. And they're not better than what we already have. There's a reason why we need to spend money. If we didn't, you could make the case, why do we buy Sané, a player that's been injured for an entire year, and yeah, you could make the case, wow, he's been injured. So why buy Sané when you can just give all our youngsters a chance? Why buy Sané then? Sometimes it's not even about the players' abilities, it's about their names. If you have a Kai Havertz on your team sheet, teams are gonna be scared, and automatically in their head they'll be like, I don't want to play Bayern. Defenders are going to be like, I don't want to give Kai Havertz space. They're going to want to go up on him whenever he gets the ball to try and stop him. And that's going to create space for other teammates. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see how Bayern do. And look, if we don't win the Champions League, all of you will turn from, oh, Hansi Flick. Well, not Flick. It won't be Flick's fault. I know for a fact if we lose, it's going to be something crazy that happens to us. But if we don't win the Champions League this year, all of you are going to just repeat exactly what we've been saying for over a year now, over 2 years now. Squad planning is poor. If we go into next season with no backup right back, no extra winger, if we buy Dominic Szoboszlai, that's an amazing signing. Fantastic. Of course, Kai Havertz is my preferred guy, but if we buy Szoboszlai, that's an amazing signing. But if we go into next season with a backup right back and a bunch of young players, when we lose, and I'm not saying if, I know for a fact Sané will get injured at Bayern. It's not like he's going to stay fit forever. Gnabry will pick up a knock like he always does for like a month and come back and ball again. Coman will get injured in his normal style. I guarantee you we will go to a Champions League game away from home. I'm not saying if, or it could happen. It will happen. We will go to a Champions League game away from home with Saprit Singh as our backup guy that we're calling upon. If Thomas Muller gets a knock. Muller's going to be 31 next year, guys. He's going to be 31. Who's going to be Muller's replacement? Even Lewandowski. Who's Lewandowski's replacement? Because Zirkzee isn't as close, even close to Lewandowski's level. He needs time, guys. And for me, I'm just going to consider these players as... God. It is disappointing, though, when you're losing out on a player and you know that you wanted him. It's very, very disappointing. The same way with... I felt a similar way about De Ligt last season. I was like, I wanted him so bad at Bayern. Great player. I wanted his maturity, the way he scored in big games. I wanted it, De Ligt, man, and it didn't happen. And I'm not gonna cry because we discovered a great defense. And it's not every time. People think, oh, Davies, we're just gonna get another Davies. That's not gonna happen for like maybe 10 years. You're not gonna get a player that just comes out 19, balling, world class already. That doesn't happen often. No, we're not gonna get that soon, anytime soon. We're not gonna get a Davies. But what we can get is a Kai Havertz. 2021, gonna be one of Germany's best players for the next 10 years. And we're missing out on him and making a big mistake by doing so. We missed out on Sané in 2016. You know what Sané said? He could have come to Bayern, but he felt like Robben and Ribéry. No, at that time, don't try to make me feel better, Leroy. We know damn sure in 2016, we know how old was Robben. 32, 33, Ribéry 34, 33 in 2016. They were old. And we still wanted to replace them at that time. We wanted to replace them. Look at Robben and Ribéry. People think, oh, Bayern replaced them so well. No, man. It took us so long to do it. But thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you all for your support. The Champions League is we have to do it, man. I just have a feeling we have to do it. There's going to be players that are going to want to play for Bayern if we win the UCL. They're going to want to join this team. And it just has to happen, guys. What about next year? Sané's going to be motivated. He's going to want to win a Champions League with Bayern. He said it himself. He wants to win the UCL with Bayern. That's his big goal. If we win it this year, oh, God, next year is going to be even crazier. Because we could be still... I don't think we'll do it twice in a row. That better be his jinx. But thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Mia san mia and peace. Stay positive, guys. Stay positive.